Hello, my dear grade 7 learner. I'm your online teacher, Paul Kuria. Allow me to take this opportunity to welcome you to our lesson today, where we're going to learn about the early civilization. Early civilization. Welcome. Let's learn together. In grade 7, we shall learn about the growth of ancient kingdoms, the growth of ancient kingdoms. As we start, we shall look at the factors that led to the growth of ancient kingdoms. Factors that led to the growth of ancient kingdoms. And to start with, we shall start with ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt. Now, on your screen, I'm displaying the factors that led to the growth of ancient Egypt. The first factor that led to the growth of ancient Egypt is River Nile. River Nile, which I'm sure you know, it's the longest river in Africa. It provided water for farming, water for transport, and water for fishing. Another factor that led to the growth of ancient Egypt is fertile soil. Now, the fertile soil allowed farming, and that farming led to food surplus. The third factor that led to the growth of ancient Egypt is trade. Egyptians, they traded so many goods, amongst them gold, papyrus, and linen. The next factor is strong leadership. We had the pharaohs, who are the kings. They ruled wisely, and they kept on expanding the kingdom. Another factor that led to the growth of ancient Egypt is advancement in terms of technology. Egyptians built the pyramids, which to date are still standing and are a tourist attraction site. They built boats and developed writings. Their writings were referred to as hieroglyphics. It's a word that gives people nightmares when it comes to pronunciation. Maybe you can pronounce it better than I've done. So these hieroglyphics were the ancient Egypt form of writings. On your screen here, I'm showing you examples of hieroglyphics that the Egyptians were using as their formal writing system. So hieroglyphics, I've told you it's a word that pronunciation, especially from where I come from, it's not that easy. You need to be careful lest you bite your tongue. So there were formal writing system used in ancient Egypt for writing the Egyptian language. So it's among the key factors that led to the growth of ancient Egypt. Let's soldier on and move to the great Zimbabwe. What are some of the factors that led to the growth of great Zimbabwe? The first factor was good climate and land that was fertile. So the good climate and land that was fertile supported farming and also the keeping of cattle. The second factor that led to the growth of the great Zimbabwe was trade. Just as we've seen with Egypt, the ancient Egypt, the great Zimbabwe too, they traded. Among the goods that they traded in, with gold, ivory, iron, which they traded with Arabs and the Portuguese. Another factor, which is similar to what we've seen in ancient Egypt, is strong leaders. So Great Zimbabwe had kings who controlled resources and kept on expanding the empire. Another factor that led to the growth of Great Zimbabwe is skilled builders. So these skilled builders, they build stone walls without cement. My dear Lana, imagine, I'm sure you either live in a permanent house or you've seen a permanent house. And you've seen the masons. They join the bricks or the stones using cement. And now here we are talking of Great Zimbabwe, where they had very skilled builders who constructed or built walls without using cement. Just imagine that. And evidence is there in what we call the Great Zimbabwe Ruins. It's still a tourist attraction site. You can go online and search for the Great Zimbabwe Ruins and how the skilled builders of Great Zimbabwe built those stone walls without cement. We move on to the Kingdom of Congo. The Kingdom of Congo. Factors that led to the growth of the Kingdom of Congo with fertile land, that's a factor that we've noted. It's common with the ancient Egypt and the Great Zimbabwe. So the fertile land supported farming of crops like bananas and millets. Trade also came in handy, where in the Kingdom of Congo, they exchanged goods like salt, copper, ivory, among other goods, with their neighbors. The Kingdom of Congo had a strong standing army that protected the kingdom from external attacks. So this is a great factor that led to the growth of the Kingdom of Congo. The other factor that led to the growth of the Kingdom of Congo was rich resources. The Kingdom of Congo had minerals like copper and iron. My dear Lana, we're going to move on and try and locate the ancient kingdoms on a map. So at this level, my dear Lana, you should be in a position to locate the ancient kingdoms on a map. You should be in a position to locate the ancient kingdoms on a map. My dear Lana, you need to know that the ancient Egypt was located in North Africa, near River Nile. I'm sure you can remember, we've said that one of the key factors that led to the growth of the ancient Egypt was River Nile. So ancient Egypt was located near River Nile. Great Zimbabwe was located in southern Africa, in the present-day Zimbabwe. When we talk of the Kingdom of Congo, it was located in Central Africa, in modern-day Angola, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. On your screen, I'm showing you a map that is showing the location of the ancient Egypt. I know you are smiling because you can remember that in grade 5, we learned the 5 elements of a map: a title, a key, a frame, with the scale, with the key. So I'm also asking myself, am I supposed to call this a map? Okay, in this scenario, allow me, you'll permit me to call this a map. But remember, it's missing some of the 5 elements of a map, including a compass. But it's just a diagram that I'm trying to display and show you the exact position of the ancient Egypt. It's to the northern of Africa, next or near River Nile. What about the location of the Great Zimbabwe? The arrow on your screen, it's showing where the Great Zimbabwe was located. Kindly have a look at it well and see where the Great Zimbabwe was located. Next, we've got the Kingdom of Congo. The arrow too is showing the location of the Kingdom of Congo. Look at where it is. Ask yourself, which countries are at that location? Good. We need now to look at the contributions of the ancient kingdoms to the modern civilization. So we want to ask ourselves, how did those ancient kingdoms contribute to the modern civilization? We shall start with the Egyptian or the Egypt ancient kingdom. Now, these were its contributions. One, we've talked about the Egyptian ancient writings that we've referred to as hieroglyphics. Next, we had architecture. Then with the farming techniques. And on your right, I'm showing you the modern impact of each of those contributions. Like now, the ancient Egyptian writings, what we've referred as hieroglyphics, they've contributed to the modern alphabets and also the writing and authorship of books. What about the architecture? We're talking about the construction of the pyramids, which are still standing as we are talking. One of the, we call it one of the, this word is slipping out of my mind, great wonders of the world. People go there and still get amazed with the architecture. So it has really impacted in the modern buildings and construction. We're also having the farming techniques, like the use of the shadoof. So it has had a modern impact in today's world through irrigation and modern farming. Next, we look at the contribution of the Great Zimbabwe. So the stone buildings, you remember what I talked about the Great Zimbabwe ruins, where they had very skilled builders who even had the technology of constructing without use of cement. So the stone buildings have impacted in the modern world through modern architecture. Another contribution is gold trade, which in the modern world has impacted through banking and trade systems. We also have now the Kingdom of Congo. What were some of the contributions? What are some of the contributions of the Kingdom of Congo? One, with metalwork, the use of iron and copper, which in the modern world has impacted in tools and the weapons that are used today. People still make reference to the metalwork from the Kingdom of Congo. We also have the traditional leadership. Now you will find that most of the modern government systems we have today, they still have their case study with the traditional leadership of the Kingdom of Congo. So my dear learner, I've heard people before asking, why should I learn about the ancient Egypt? Why should I learn about the Great Zimbabwe? How will it benefit me to learn about the Kingdom of Congo? My dear learner, you see, we've seen that the contributions that we had those many years is still impacting in our modern world. As the saying goes, everything that has a beginning also has an end. And it has a come a time for me to say goodbye. I've been your online teacher, Teacher Paul Korea. Keep on viewing, keep on tuned for more recordings, for more lessons. Goodbye.